Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be starting with the key of C, and as you can see above it, there are no sharps or flats in the key of C. We have two hands, and we're going to call our fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the right hand, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the left hand. What we're going to be using is this formula, the whole step, half step formula. And this formula will work with every key that we're trying to play. As far as the key of C goes, what we're going to do is start on C, which is located to the left of the two black notes. And the formula says from here we go up a whole step. First of all, these are half steps, including between E and F and B and C, but these are all half steps. These are whole steps, from C to D, from F to G, even from C sharp to D sharp. Those are considered whole steps. So when we start out on the key of C, we're starting on C, we're going up a whole step to D, another whole step to E. This is considered a half step, so the next step in the formula calls for a half step, so we will do that. Then we ask for a whole step, whole step, whole step, and between B and C is considered a half step. So there's your last step of the formula. So you have just played the C scale. No sharps or flats in that particular scale. Now with our right hand, there is a certain way we want to do this scale so we can use all our fingers and get used to using all our fingers, and we'll do it this way with a 1, 2, 3, and we cross or slide up our hand to the next note, which is the F, and continue playing the scale, and you come back down again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So that's how you play your C scale with your right hand. With your left hand, it's a little different because we're starting on the 5, or the baby finger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're sliding our hand up to the third finger. 3, 2, 1. And the same in reverse coming down. 1, 2, 3, cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the left hand. That's the right hand. When you first start doing this, it's kind of difficult to do because you're not used to using all these fingers, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The important part when you're crossing is not to stay stuck on that note and go like this, but rather to 1, 2, 3, slide. And as you get better at this, you'll be able to pick up speed. So this is a C scale, and when you do the scales together, you'll notice that the hands cross at different times, which is the hard part of doing scales. So I always recommend that people practice both hands individually, get comfortable with them individually, and hopefully when you put them together, they will automatically play. It's not easy the first few times, but trust me, it does work after a while. So that's the C scale. Now when we're building scales, we're using this formula, the whole step, half step formula, but when we're building chords, we're also using a formula. The formula for building a major chord, which is a 3-note triad, we are using the first, the third, and the fifth finger of that scale. And we're using the first, the third, and the fifth note of that particular scale. In this case, it happens to be a C scale. So the first note is C, third note is E, fifth note is G. And when you play them all together, you have made a C major chord. Now, whenever I see new people doing this, their brain says they want to do it, their fingers say they want to do it, but you have a hard time. And trust me, when you first try to play a chord, it's difficult, but over time and practice and playing scales, this is how we get our fingers strengthened and we're able to play chords. So that's a major chord. To make a minor chord, all you do is take the first note and you lower the third note a half a step, which is to the E flat, and you continue to play the fifth note of the scale, the G. So there's your C minor chord. I always equate minor chords to a sad kind of a sound. Major chords don't have that sound. So if you can hear that, real good. So that is a C minor chord. Now the other chords that I want to show you as far as the C scale go are the seventh chords. And all that's telling you is that you're taking the first, the third, the fifth, and the seventh note of a scale, and you play a 4-note chord. With the seventh chords, there are 3 of them. There's the first, the third, the fifth, and the seventh. That's a C major 7th chord. Now the other form of a C 7th chord is to use the first, the third, the fifth, and a lowered 7th, a half a step to the B flat. That's the second C 7th chord. And the third one is a C minor 7, where you're lowering the third note, playing your fifth note, and you're lowering your 7th note. So those are your 3 7th chords. Now the other piece of chords are a thing called inversions. Inversions are where you take the first, the third, and the fifth note, and you use the same notes, you just use them in a different position. So in other words, C, E, G, instead of playing them here, play the E, the G, and the C there. That's called an inversion, and you can do it a third way of G, C, E. So those are 3 inversions of a C major chord, and you can do those same inversions with minor chords, 7th chords. The reason for inversions is when we're playing music, a lot of times if we're coming from a C chord to a G chord in the music, that's a lot of hopping around. So what we'll do is we'll take the inversion of the G chord, and it makes it much easier to maneuver around the keyboard. So just one of the little tricks for making chords and making them a lot easier to play. So that's it for the C scale. When we come back, we'll be taking on the G scale and the F scale, and we're also going to try to get to the B flat and the D scale today.